Masters of war. You that build the big guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind the big guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind walls guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You don't have to take it no more. You know the rich, they always want more. Keep the rich. Big guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. Masters of war. You that build the big guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind walls. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind walls. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind walls.
United States is still the greatest purveyor of violence. As we had witnessed, Ukraine could not continue its war with Russia without US support. Israel could not do its Gaza genocide for 15 months without bombs and planes supplied by United States. We are here to remind our congressmen and senators that we need to stop these wars. We need to join the Nuclear Weapons Ban Treaty. After the event, some of us will be delivering our demands to the two senators' offices here, Senator Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff, and Jim Costa's office. In 1985, Reagan and Gorbachev agreed that a nuclear war cannot be won and it must never be fought. At that time, the five nuclear states, USA, USSR, China, France, and United Kingdom, agreed to that statement that it should never be fought, and they agreed that they will reduce the risk of war and reduce the nuclear weapons. Unfortunately, some of our politicians and many of our leaders in Pentagon think they can win a limited nuclear war. It is asinine. There is no such thing as a limited nuclear war. When a nuclear war starts, it is the end of our civilization. Thank you. Now we have current board member and past president of Peace Fresno, Camille Russell, who will talk to us about the doomsday clock.
We have this wonderful model right here that represents the doomsday clock. So as you can see, that's where it is right now. But as I speak, Ken Hudson is going to help us by moving the hands to make it show where it has been in other places during the nuclear age. The doomsday clock is a metaphorical representation of how close humanity is to self-destruction. It was created in 1947 for the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists that was inspired by discussions among scientists who had worked on the Manhattan Project that created the first bomb. They were extremely concerned about the urgent need to control nuclear weapons. The clock uses the imagery of a countdown to midnight to convey the urgency of threats of a nuclear war, which will end the destruction of life on Earth as we know it. That's all life on Earth. Within just a few months or years, all of the planet's animals and people, everything we know here that's part of our environment will be destroyed. The clock's original setting in 1947 was 7 seconds to midnight. Oops. Not seconds. 7 seconds. Fiddlesticks. 7 minutes to midnight. Okay, that was when it was first created. That means in 7 minutes, a nuclear bomb will explode, beginning events that will end life. It has since been moved backward and forward many times. The farthest time it was 17 minutes to midnight in 1991 when the Soviet Union collapsed. Due to wars and geopolitical crises in many parts of the world, the clock has been moving closer and closer to midnight, and now it is at 89 seconds to midnight. The closest that it has ever been. Just yesterday, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists made their annual report and moved the doomsday clock to that position of 89 seconds.
Hello. So yeah, here's the sign about what Camille just said. I am Teresa. I'm the branch chair of WILF, Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. And we have a disarm committee that it's a national committee as well as local. You can join a WILF group, us locally. You can join the national group. You can join Back from the Brink. You can join DieIN. You can do it on your own. What we need are voices, and the voices aren't there. If we had, I believe the statistics is something like 3.5% of our population. That's very small. If we had that many people letting our representatives know that we disapprove of something, we will have change happen. That's very low. The few of us know people, we can expand this. I don't need to keep saying why. We all know why. That's why you're here today. Pick up information, it's at the table, and see what you can do.
Hi, everyone. Whoops. As Dan said, I'm Ann Merrill with Peace Fresno.
Get close to the mic.
And I will be leading you today in our No War, No Nuclear Weapons DieIN. So a DieIN is a form of nonviolent public protest. We are here to dramatize the horrors of war and nuclear annihilation by lying down upon the cardboard mats as if we were corpses. Or you can sit in a chair and slump over the table or stand with your head bowed, whatever works with you. So, we are here to demand that Trump and Congress stop the wars, genocide, and the threat of nuclear weapons. It's time to join with over half of the countries in the world and sign the treaty to ban nuclear weapons. And there's more information about that on the table, along with other steps the U.S. can take to make the world a safer place. Our government acts as if it's possible to win a limited nuclear war. We are spending hundreds of billions of dollars to upgrade the U.S. nuclear arsenal, while the nuclear weapons we already have are enough to blow up the world several times over. And the U.S. practices nuclear war games with NATO, where many of our intercontinental ballistic missiles with nuclear warhead capabilities are stationed. As if we can win a nuclear war. But nuclear weapons are not ordinary weapons. Modernizing our nuclear weapons does not make us safer. It only promotes the perception that a nuclear war can be fought and won. And that is a false narrative. With our launch on warning policy, an intercontinental ballistic missile, once launched, intentionally or by accident, can't be redirected or recalled. As long as there are nuclear weapons, there is a risk of nuclear war. It can happen in a few short minutes. So the details for the DieIN are pretty basic. First, I will move the hands of the doomsday clock to midnight, and then there will be a nuclear attack siren will go off, indicating that the catastrophic end of the world as we know it is upon us. At which point, everybody turns into a corpse and we fall to the ground. So we have some mats there. There's mats over there. I got a couple mats here. Whatever you want to grab, kind of get ready to grab them at that time and find your sweet spot on the ground. As we lie on the ground, there will be a moment of silence as we contemplate our annihilation. Then there will be music to uplift our souls. And finally, we will rise up chanting, "No war, no nukes." All right. And now, as the world engages in the unimaginable war and genocide and hovers on the brink of nuclear disaster, the doomsday clock strikes midnight.
I would like to acknowledge Raza Against War, led by Stan, Gloria, and Linda. They have been right here in front of the federal building every Wednesday for the past year at 11:30, calling for an end to the genocide in Gaza, and being heard by the senators' offices up in the federal building on this side. Two of our U.S. senators have offices up here, and also Representative Jim Costa's office across the street. They have been hearing us for every Wednesday for the past year. How do we know that? Because we've gone up there and they've told us. Good job, Raza Against War. But I'm here right now to read to you a statement from Carol Goyburn, who is the chair of a local anti-nuclear weapons group called Back from the Brink. And she couldn't be here today because she's recruiting students at Fresno City College for these types of events. Here is what she had to say to you. What we need is a peace clock. What we have is a doomsday clock. What we need are 0 nuclear weapons. What we have are around 12,000 nuclear weapons. What we need are 0 countries with nuclear weapons. And what we have is 9 countries with nuclear weapons. Every day, the doomsday clock is reset to metaphorically reflect what scientists believe is the time we have until the nuclear bombs drop. Last year, the time was left at 90 seconds to midnight, the closest it's ever been to nuclear Armageddon. But just yesterday, the clock was reset to 89 seconds to midnight. we are even closer to destroying ourselves as well as all the complex life on Earth. Back from the Brink is a national grassroots movement for nuclear weapons abolition with 5 solutions I'd like you to consider. And if you believe, like I do, that these monstrous weapons have no place in civilization, I'd like you to consider ways that you and I can join forces to bring about the following 5 solutions. 1. Actively pursuing a verifiable agreement among nuclear-armed states to eliminate their nuclear arsenals. 2. Renouncing the option of using nuclear weapons first. 3. Ending the sole unchecked authority of any U.S. president to launch a nuclear attack. 4. Taking U.S. nuclear weapons off hair trigger alert. And 5. Canceling the plan to replace the entire U.S. nuclear arsenal with enhanced weapons. So let's work together to set this doomsday clock back, far back to a time where we once lived without the threat of nuclear war, and where we, our children, and our children's children can once again live out their lives without this monstrous threat hanging over their heads. Let's prioritize our lives for peace, because as Alice Slater states in Peace and Planet News, she says, "It's time to transform the clock and change the conversation. Dire warnings about doomsday have done little to increase our world's safety these 77 years. It's time to speak about the many possibilities and missed opportunities to create the new dawning of a peace day." Thank you. Dan?
I want to thank Fresno Peace Coalition for sponsoring and helping us organize, helping Peace Fresno organize the event. We'll be taking a letter which specify our demands. Those demands are: end war in Ukraine, stop military aid to Israel, and join the nuclear weapons ban treaty. So some of us will be going to Senators Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla's office and Jim Costa's office. Thank you.
I think you will find when your deathbed gets cold, all the money you made will not buy back your soul.